Mo Salah is not that good.
Bro, stop it. Yes, he is. What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Inside the D. This should be episode 19. Or no, it should be 18. I think the podcast episode we did with our special guest, TBD, if you don't know who it is, I'm not going to tell you. I think that's going to be episode 19. And right now is episode 18. You might be wondering, hey, guys, where's Luke? He's skiing right now. I don't
We
know
fired him.
where, but he's skiing. Where's he skiing?
Fresno, I
Fresno.
think.
He went to Fresno to go ski, so he's not going to be on the podcast with us today. Um, there's not really much we have to talk about, really. I was telling Ico earlier, I have one of the best strikers in Europe behind me, and I also have Ibrahimovic as well. Both in
Endgame's
form
11
players.
goals.
Leicester City, that's who Chelsea plays next week, by the way.
Not going to be a fun weekend for Chelsea.
It's not going to be a fun weekend for Aidan. You know, I cry every time we lose. We barely
beat Fulham. Not good.
Well, we had Zuma was out, but I think it was just squad rotation. I don't think there was an injury. It was Rudiger who played in.
You guys had a pretty good lineup in. You can't make the excuse you didn't have a good lineup in.
There's no excuse. We won the game.
Oh, okay, but barely beating Fulham. That it's not impressive.
I need Odds Bible to stop slandering Chelsea. They won the game and they were only posting hate messages. Like, we get it.
Because a 1-0 win to a 10-man Fulham.
What about Tottenham? They drew to Fulham.
They were just Tottenham. We expect it from
Tottenham's
Tottenham.
in better form than Chelsea right now.
Yeah, but we know Tottenham,
They can't really hold on to leads, can they?
Exactly. Well, really quickly, I know I talk about them a lot, but we do need to talk about AC Milan because amazing news today. It's official.
You like this?
I love it. Yeah. It's official now. Mario Mandzukic, ex-Juventus striker, he's in Milan for his medicals, arrived last night. And as we talked about last podcast towards the end, Fikayo Tomori, it's official. Loan option to buy for 30 mil. It's been done. He just needs to pass the physical, and it's a done deal. So, it's been a solid transfer market, better than I expected. We've gotten 3 players so far, and it doesn't seem like we're done yet.
You guys have had a pretty busy window, I'd say. Pretty good signings. When he says last episode we talked about Fikayo Tomori, we're technically talking about next episode.
Oh, sorry, next episode. Yeah.
After the interview, we talked a little bit about Tomori going to AC Milan. Tomori is one of my favorite players, and again, I said I'm not going to talk too much about it because I'm going to talk about it in the next episode. But I'm just really sad about it that it's an option to buy. I just am.
Yeah. Solid signing by Maldini, one of the greatest center backs ever, and hopefully he turns Fikayo Tomori into one of them.
Why do you need to say that? I don't say, oh yeah, great signing from one of the greatest Chelsea players of all time, Frank Lampard. Like, nice.
Well, he's kind of a bad manager, but
doesn't matter. If you bagged in 211 goals as a midfielder for one Premier League team,
he wasn't bad. He wasn't bad.
What do you mean he wasn't bad? He was really. That's like saying, oh yeah, Ronaldo. He's not bad. I mean, he's a good player.
Messi's better than Ronaldo.
Enough with that. Guys, on our TikTok, every time we post a pro Messi or pro Ronaldo TikTok, one person's gonna comment saying, "Ha ha ha! Look at Penaldo or look at Pessi." It's like, come on, guys.
No. Penaldo is a real thing. Pessi is not.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
100%. I back in the day as well, 4-3-3. That was everyone was commenting Pessi.
No, but I'm saying now Penaldo, he gets all his goals from penalties. Messi.
Do you see the comment?
No, I did.
Laughing emoji, Pessi.
I think I honestly think he's given up this season. I mean, there's so many clips of him. He's just walking on the field like he doesn't care anymore. I mean,
he just doesn't want to be there, does he?
No, he doesn't. The question is, where is he going to go? Because
I'll say this: he's going to Man City, and then he's going to.
I don't know if he is.
I'll tell you why.
I don't know if he is.
Let me explain why. What I think, because this is what Frank Lampard did. Went to Man City, and then after you're done with Man City, you go to NYCFC because they're affiliated. So you don't have to sign a whole new deal. They're affiliated, which is why Lampard went from Man City to NYCFC. That's why things.
Yeah, no, I get that, but I don't know why I have a feeling at the start, like when the reports first came out, I was like, oh, 100% he's leaving. He's definitely going. Now I'm kind of getting this, or he's definitely going to Man City, but now I'm kind of getting this feeling I don't know if he's going there. I think he's definitely leaving Barcelona. I don't know where he's going to go, though. I don't know where he's going to end up.
Again, yeah, of course, there's speculation. When it comes to a big, high profile player like Messi, there's going to be speculation of a bunch of teams that he's rumored to go to. He's been rumored to go to Manchester City for pretty much every single season. There have been rumors about him going to Man City. Now I think it's time. Again, I've mentioned this before. Imagine Ronaldo. We talked about this with Neil on in the next episode. We talked about it. Imagine Ronaldo goes back to United and Messi goes to City. The Manchester derby is Messi versus Ronaldo. How ridiculous is that?
Yeah, but the Ronaldo going back to United was when the whole Pogba's getting sold was going to happen. Now Pogba's in form. Pogba's playing really well. They might not sell him, and they won't have the funds to do it.
Oh, you're talking about funds.
They won't. Yeah, they won't have the money.
Like, Ronaldo's not playing CDM.
No. I think Messi is going to PSG. I'm calling it right now. I think he's going there.
Why?
He wants to be back with Neymar, and it takes a lot of pressure off of him because the front three is going to be. It's not just him now, like it is. I mean, it's not just him in Barcelona, but he's definitely the carrier. But then when he's there, he's got Mbappe and he's got Neymar, and they'll be the best front three in the world for a couple of years at least.
That's gonna be ridiculous because the best trio, of course, for a bunch of seasons was MSN, Messi,
100%.
Suarez, Neymar, and then there was also BBC, which was Bale, Benzema, Cristiano. Right? But those are like the two best front threes in the world. Now there's arguments that it's Salah, Mane.
Oh, can we talk about something?
Sure.
Completely off topic, but Mo Salah is not that good.
Bro, stop it. Yes, he is. I'm a Chelsea fan.
He's not that good. Listen, no, he's
Really?
okay. No, he's great. He's great. But I was reading about
That's not contradictory.
He does not play well versus big teams at all.
Yes,
ever.
He does.
Ever. No.
What are you talking
Talk about look at today. What did he do today? I don't even think he had a shot. I don't think he had a single shot. Bruno Fernandes, disappointing performance. Neil thought Rashford was going to get 2 goals. Rashford
I was talking about that. Yeah, I was just say Neil. Again, we have to stop giving away what he said. But another thing he did say was 2-1 to Liverpool. No, 2-1 to United. A brace from Rashford, a goal from Mane. Fair prediction. 0-0 is the most boring game. I'm glad I didn't wake up for it.
They did absolutely nothing.
I didn't even watch the highlights, so I don't know who played well or who didn't play well.
No, literally nobody did anything. I think actually Alisson played a great game.
I heard Alisson had a few, moment or game-defining saves, which great. I mean, I'm okay. I don't mind a draw. I think that's fine. I would have actually wanted Liverpool to win because I'd want them to close the gap at the top.
No, I want United to win out because think about the headlines. Two clubs who were amazing kind of fell off.
AC Milan's not winning.
Back to glory. AC Milan, Man U.
A big win against Juventus today, by the way.
I know. That was incredible. Also, Napoli 6-0'd Fiorentina.
Did they?
Yeah, it was like insane. It was a goal fest.
Ridiculous. Goal fest for Napoli.
Well, yeah.
Fiorentina is not even a terrible team in terms of they shouldn't be getting 6-0'd.
No, they're not. They're not a bad team. I mean, they did sell their best player this summer, but what?
And who's that?
Chiesa.
Oh, Fiorentina. I thought you were talking about Napoli.
No.
I'm thinking like Koulibaly and Insigne. I'm like, who are you talking about? Chiesa. Yeah, correct.
Oh, wait, we're kind of jumping around this podcast if you haven't been able to tell.
Yeah, we're just jumping around because we have no.
Look, he brought up a name, Koulibaly. You think he's gonna go somewhere? You think he's gonna stay in Napoli?
So remember we talked about how Liverpool was potentially going to sign him over Upamecano. Yeah. Now it seems like they might not even sign either of them. But I don't know because when I went to Napoli in summer of 2019. And I went to the Napoli store and I bought a Koulibaly jersey and they were saying like, oh, like be careful, he might be leaving, but I got it anyway. And because everyone was saying he was going to go to Manchester United. That was the destination that he was going to end up in.
That'd be a sick team.
The thing about Koulibaly, I know, imagine that. and because Harry Maguire, people, he was still kind of, we didn't know where he was at. And, Maguire, Koulibaly center back partnership sounded really, really good.
It would still be great.
I think they would still be great, but rotation between Maguire, Lindelof, Bailly. But listen, Koulibaly has been one of those players where he's stayed at that team for most of his career, and there's always rumors of him leaving. Okay, that's going to happen every season. He's just one
Similar
of
to
those players.
Messi.
Exactly, but rumors come and go for Koulibaly every single year, and he stays. He's got no reason to go. I mean, I think he still wants to stay in Napoli and possibly go for the Scudetto. You know what I mean? Like, because
Yeah,
Napoli hasn't won that in how
but
long?
but they don't got a chance. Listen, they haven't beat us. They haven't beat Juve.
Okay.
I honestly don't know if they beat. I think they drew to Napoli
They
they drew to Lazio. I mean,
they drew Inter as well.
and Inter. Okay,
I don't know. Don't
they're
quote
not
me.
winning. They're not winning anything. I
I'm
hate
not
to
saying
say
this
it.
season. I didn't say this season.
No, but just in general, they're literally just getting older.
They won a trophy against you guys against Juventus last season, the Coppa Italia.
Okay, but that's all they won. They barely made Europa League because of
That's
Coppa
all they
Italia.
won out of the 2 trophies you can win in Italy. They won one of them. They've won.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is they're okay, but they're not winning. They're definitely not winning Champions League. Okay. Probably not winning Europa.
No.
He's an incredible player. He can be going to a team where he's gonna win a Champions League, somewhere that I feel like would be a good destination, and a team who has the funds to get him. Bayern. I mean, they have fine center backs, but nobody that like stands out. Nobody that's great.
Because this guy plays on the wing back as well, but David Alaba is not going to
resign with
Bayern. Yeah. He's going to be gone. He plays center back. Sula is a good center back, but Koulibaly would probably.
They have no standout center back.
Right.
Yeah.
Who's their other one? Boateng doesn't.
Hernandez, I think. Hernandez.
Is it Hernandez?
Lucas.
And by the way, those are two, like Lucas Hernandez and David Alaba are both natural fullbacks as well.
Mm-hmm.
What's funny? Again, we're just jumping around in this podcast, but I find it funny that like Lucas Hernandez and Theo Hernandez, brothers, both played left back. Like I'm just curious, like how they both decided they were going to play that one position.
First of all, sad stories for Theo, COVID-19, but yeah, it's pretty crazy because usually you'd think the brothers they'd play on the same team. So how are they both playing the same position? Mm-hmm. I think Lucas always played the left back and center back. Like he could always do both. Whereas Theo, I mean, he's fine defensively. I wouldn't want him at center back. He's the natural left back, and he'll always be at left back where Lucas can actually go in the middle.
So we're talking about maybe if there's even such thing as AYSO in France, then Lucas was always the center back, and Theo took the left back role.
Exactly.
Honestly, I could honestly see Theo Hernandez playing striker at age 9. I mean, that happens a lot. You see a lot of positions. Like, don't quote me on this player, but I believe it was Casemiro was trying out for a team as a striker, and they had too many strikers, so he decided that he was going to say he was a CDM. Because there weren't any CDMs, and he made
exactly. But also, like for Milan, he's playing up front for us. Sometimes, like you'll see on the attack, sometimes he moves into the number 9 role, and you're like, wait, why is our left back playing striker?
How do you get up here then?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, he's definitely an attack minded left back, so I wouldn't be surprised
more than his brother.
Oh, 100%.
100% more than his
also brother. The speed helps him. I mean, his brother's he's not quick. I mean, he's not slow, but he's not quick.
Yeah. Theo Hernandez is quick. I mean, that's what you have to be as a left or right back. You got to be quick, or else you're not ineffective. But like, yeah, you do need that defensive, structure as a right or left back. But you really need that speed. Take a look at why they put Adama Traore at wing back, because he's got the speed. I mean, come on, that's vital.
He's been pretty silent this year. Wolves as a whole, I mean, they are, what are they, 15th, 14th right now?
I'm not sure, but I don't want to blame it all on Raul, but I mean, that's something, losing.
Oh, it's definitely a loss, but
losing Diogo Jota is a hard hit. And this just happens with teams. Wolves was never considered a giant. They just had a couple good seasons in their first seasons back in the Prem, and everyone was like, oh, they're a great team. And then they lose their best player, Raul, to injury. They lose one of their best players, Diogo Jota, to Liverpool. And now they're just, they're flat. Like, it's like Sheffield. They had such a good season. Everyone's like, oh, they're a great team. And then now we're all somehow surprised that they only have one win. And then you look at their team, and then you're like, oh, that's why they only have one win.
No, but Wolves has a pretty solid team. Well, I mean, it's literally Portugal's national team minus the big players. But, yeah.
It is true. I have to say that is the most one-sided country team I've seen.
It's awful.
It's all I don't think it's even that awful. I think it's great. I think it's funny.
Yeah, but like if you're gonna get the entire Portugal team, at least get like the good play. I mean, don't get me wrong, they're not the bad players, but at least get the good players like the Bruno Fernandes, the Rafa, the Ronaldo. I
Yeah,
mean,
but
if Wolves could ever pull off.
they're not only gonna sign the Portuguese. I mean, come on, they signed Raul from
You
Mexico.
say that, but like 9 out of 11 players on their team are Portugal.
Yeah, but Raul and Adama, two big signings they've had in however many years ago, a few years ago, were both not from Portugal. You have one born in Mexico, the other one born in I think he was born in Mali, but then chose Spain as his thing. But either way, non-Portuguese.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, yeah, they're gonna bring in the Portuguese guys if they're easy money, but if they're gonna go for a big star, they're not gonna, filter for only Portuguese players. You know what I mean?
I mean, they're two. What is it? Their entire midfield, from left mid to right mid to the two midfielders. Now that Adama plays back in the back line,
but is Fabio Silva? He's Portuguese?
No, isn't there midfield?
No, I was just wondering.
Oh, I'm not sure if he is.
Let's just
actually
say, I mean, Fabio Silva sounds Portuguese enough.
Yeah.
There's Pedro Neto.
Exactly.
Right? Is Podence? No, he's not Portuguese, is he?
Oh, I think he is.
You know what? We're saying it.
Yeah.
Portuguese, right? Then you got Ruben Neves in the middle, João Moutinho in the middle. You've got
go back to the keeper. You got Rui Patricio.
Center backs aren't Portuguese.
No. Cody's English.
Cody's English. Bali's
French.
And then obviously
Adama plays wing back, and
Adama's Spanish. But mostly Portuguese players.
Yeah.
Who's that one? And Diogo Jota, who's obviously not there anymore, but he's also Portuguese. And Nelson Semedo.
Oh, exactly.
What a great signing for
I mean, he's a good signing.
That's what I'm talking about.
He was like 24 mil too.
Exactly, it was a really good signing, and yes, he happened to be Portuguese, but it was still just a good signing. Forget about the country for a second. Like, I can't say that's the reason why they signed Semedo, because he was not having a spot at Barcelona anymore. His spot was almost gone.
Which I would regret that if I were them, playing the right, but. He's definitely
Roberto's better than
Roberto plays midfield for them.
But I'm saying they have two choices at right back anyway. They've got Dest and they've got Roberto, who I would put over Semedo.
I don't know about Dest over Semedo. No, just because he's American, Aiden's putting Dest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's not even that American. I'm so glad he chose us, but he's more Dutch. His accent's Dutch. Like,
true.
Come on.
True. Speaking of Barcelona, Depay. Free transfer over the summer. You think that's going to happen?
I don't know. I can't say if it's going to happen or not, but it'd be a good signing, to be fair.
Recent reports, another big French player, Florian Thauvin, he's officially allowed to leave the club for free.
Is he really?
Yeah, starting now.
Oh my goodness.
And guys, right now, top of the list. Well, I mean, the only reason I know this is because top of AC Milan's list right now is him.
Good player as well.
But yeah, he's a great player, and somebody can get him for free this summer. Actually, no. I think he can sign for a team now and go to them for free.
Do you think there's any chances that he's going to stay in? Was it
Marseille? No, he already said I'm not staying, and I think the reason he's allowed to leave immediately is because something happened with the contract where there was something where he can leave in January for free on a free transfer.
Well, No. So I think isn't that the same as Messi though? Messi can leave right now as well. I think he can negotiate.
No. For anybody, once you enter your last 6 months, you can negotiate.
Contract agreement.
But there's certain players who have it in their contract where they can leave in the last January if there hasn't been an extension.
And that's what's happening with Florian right now. AC Milan, that'd be a good signing for him if everything fails with Leon Bailey, right? Or are you guys?
I think that's over. I think that was just like a little like toss out, and then not. I mean, they want like, I forgot what something like 50 mil or 60 mil for him, which he's a great player, but I don't know if I'm putting that much money down for him.
He's a really good player, but he was worth that maybe a couple of years ago with with his potential. And he's like you said, he's playing really well, but he's not worth 60 million, is he?
No, definitely not.
If he makes a move to the Premier League, he'll be worth like 80 million.
Yeah, but that's just because they pad all the numbers for Premier League.
No hate to Rashford, but they said he was like
the most. No,
second.
they said he's the most expensive player in the world, and I was
Yeah,
like, you're forgetting about Mbappe
yeah.
or
Or I mean, you most expensive young player in the
Holland.
world, and you're putting him below, or you're putting him above Holland and Mbappe. And to me,
But
it's
I remember the Mbappe was fifth, but it was all because he's having like contract issues or something.
fifth.
Yeah,
That kid's gonna be one of the greatest players of all time, and
ever.
you can already tell he's got a complete career. All he needs is the Champions League, and he's done. He can literally retire and the Ballon d'Or. That's it. Then he can
He's
retire.
gonna win. Him and Holland are gonna be the next Messi and Ronaldo for Ballon d'Or.
Why is it that we knew that Mbappe was going to be so good when he was, let's just say, he was at Monaco? We knew for years that this kid was going to be good ever since he was 17, 18 years old. We knew that he was going to be the next big star. Why is it that we didn't really know Holland was going to be good until he had a good performance in the Champions League?
Because uh, Monaco is like a club known for building these amazing players and selling them, and he was also a very expensive transfer fee. Holland, very cheap. What it was 9 mil, right, or something like that.
Something crazy like that.
Something or like 18, something like that. So everybody was like, "Oh, this kid might be fine." And then you watch him in the Champions League, and like first 4 games, he has 7 goals, and you're like, "Oh my god, this kid is a machine."
Yeah, but don't you think there was a lot of hype before he left Salzburg, because he was still bagging in goal after goal in the Champions League for a lesser known team in Salzburg. Not lesser known, but doesn't can't
But
compete with the other Champions League teams.
I think you said it right there. They were a lesser known team. He was probably a lesser known player because of that. If you're thinking Ligue 1, you're going to be thinking of PSG, Monaco, and Lyon. I'd say those are the 3 teams you would think of.
Yeah, I guess you would. I mean, I would say it's hard for Ligue 1 because PSG is such a newly big club. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, they
Uh,
had big players sort of back in the day, but like, I forget who has the most Ligue 1 titles of all time. But I'm talking about back in the day, way before we were born. PSG was not nearly as big. It was kind of like Man City. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
there's
Then Man City got the
bigger
oil
clubs.
money and it all went uphill.
What just happened today? I saw so many things
But
online about how, oh, you know what it was? They've just given Pep Guardiola 200 million to spend this window.
but
That's the price of
wasn't the statistic that he's spent like 1 billion on defenders alone or something like that?
probably they've just given him
I th-
200 million. Where's the slander for them, by the way? Why?
but it's like at this point you're like, I expect it.
Here's my
What's
thing.
sad though is they spend all this money and they don't even get that good of players. I mean,
That's
who'd they buy this summer? Nobody. Like,
Ruben Diaz,
yeah, and
Kurt
Ake,
Zuma.
who both just. I mean, Ake's injured, but Diaz has actually been pretty good. I
Yeah,
can't
well, I
say
was just
that.
saying Kurt Zuma's been better than both City defenders this season. Stones,
All right, Zuma
everybody,
had a
all of
good
them.
first month, and then now he's kind of lacking.
What are you talking about? Zuma's arguably our best player this season.
But you have to admit, most of that came from that first month. Now he's
No,
like slowed down a
let
lot.
me stop you right there. Most of his goals came from that first half of the first
Yeah, but
half of the season.
that's why everyone's freaking out. Nobody's focusing that much on his
Yeah, you
defense.
compare his defensive stats, and I know this because I did this today. If you compare his defensive stats with Ruben Diaz and John Stones from this season, Zuma has the edge on all of the stats defensively: takeaways, tackles, all of that, interceptions.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is like popularity wise, the reason Zuma got so hyped up was because of the goals. Nobody's
Well, and
really
because
looking
he's
at his
Zuma.
defense. Kurt
It's
Zuma.
because you don't expect that Kurt Zuma, who couldn't even start for Chelsea.
Yeah, Rudonki is starting over him.
Rude Donkey was starting over him. I gotta stop calling him Rude Donkey. Uh, yeah, but he was like Zuma was getting loaned to Stoke City and Everton and wasn't even a big name there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then he comes to
Speaking
Chelsea and he
of
balls out with Thiago Silva.
Everton,
What
not
happened to
looking
them?
great. Not looking great.
Calvert
Didn't they
Lewin's
drop
injured.
points again this week? I think they did.
I think they. I
I
think
think
they.
they lost or drew.
They I don't. I'm not sure. I really have been lacking. I'm
Yeah,
not gonna
I
lie.
didn't really
I've been
focus
too
that much.
stressed out about our interview with Neil that I haven't.
Yeah.
I've been like prepping every night, like doing research. I was so scared. But Calvert Lewin's injured. I know that because Fantasy Premier League, I had to drop
Yeah.
him. And then
I'm pretty
James
sure he's still
is
starting for me.
probably, you don't say.
Probably. I
James
don't check.
Rodriguez is back now, but he was injured for a little bit. Alan was injured for a tiny bit. Let me ask you this: out of the three midfielders, I think we can agree that Decore is probably the lesser of Allen and James. I saw a comment on our TikTok today. Someone says Decore it was like on our unpopular football opinions. Decore is a top 6 midfielder in the Prem. What do you think about that?
No. I just want to say something. A TikTok made by Aidan today. Unpopular opinions. KDB is miles better than Bruno Fernandes. No, he's not.
You disagree.
No, he's not.
Oh boy.
No, he's not. Maybe career-wise, but take this season.
No, that's not.
Bruno's been much better.
As a player, who do you want on your team right now?
Bruno.
For the rest of their careers.
Bruno.
KDB.
Bruno.
Oh, man.
Bruno is playing incredible. I saw a statistic. Do not quote me on this. It was like in the past, I don't know, 60. I don't remember the statistics. Maybe it was like the past 60 days. Bruno has like an absurd number of man of the matches
yeah, he had more than Ronaldo did in however long he was even there.
Wait, no, I don't remember the statistic.
No, I remember. He had more man of the match awards than Ronaldo did in his entire United career.
No, that's not what I was looking. No.
Well, that's.
Oh, you know what? It might have been player of the month. It was like the past 10 months.
Is that not what I said?
No, man of the matches.
Oh no, I mean player of the month.
But it was like in the past 10 months, player of the months to Bruno. I don't remember the number, and it was like way higher than the past like I don't remember 2 years for KDB.
Yeah, so that's really cool that you bring that up. But let me say this: I'm talking about for the rest of your career. You're judging Bruno and KDB off of this season and maybe a little bit of last season. I don't think you realize what KDB did in the Premier League last season. He set the record or tied the record for most assists.
That's last season. That's last season.
I'm saying.
Timo Werner had a great season last season. What's happening now?
Is Timo Werner a bad player or is he in bad form?
Bad form is when it's like a month or two. Bad player is once it gets to like 4 or 5 months.
So you're telling me Timo Werner's a bad player?
If Timo Werner doesn't pick it up by the end of the season, I will classify him as a bad player.
Absolutely disagree. What about Lukaku? Is he a good player or a bad player?
He's a good player now, but when he was at Man United, he was bad.
So tell me why he had a really, really bad season at United. One season.
Okay, wait about that. He did not have a really, really bad season.
Yeah,
he didn't have a great season.
He had a very poor season for United, and
not that poor.
Falling out for Inter. One season does not determine whether a player is good or bad. Yes, they've had an off season. If Timo Werner finishes this season awfully, plays all of next season awfully, go ahead and call him a bad player if you want to call him after 2 seasons. I probably still wouldn't even do that. He's still young. He's adjusting in the Premier League not well. He's in a bad run of form. He's not a bad player. He's still one of the best strikers in the world.
I'm seeing. Relax there. Relax there. I wouldn't even say. No, you can't. Don't you dare go there. I could list 10 right now that are better than him.
One of them meaning in all of Europe.
I could list 10 right now that are better than him.
Okay. I agree.
I think that he's showing signs of being the next Michy Batshuayi, Alvaro Morata.
That's so comedy. Batshuayi was
big
never
signing
at that level.
Okay, Morata, big signing
at a Werner level.
Big signing comes to Chelsea. I mean, you know Chelsea. Come on, they sign the strikers for big money and then they amount to nothing.
Shevchenko, Morata, Torres. Listen. Torres, I'm gonna say right now, 100% worth it just for that goal he scored against Barcelona. That's it. That is it.
Okay. Well, would you say Morata is a good player?
Yeah.
Would you say he was a good player for Chelsea?
I think that he played well at some points, but I think he plays much better now, and he played much better before.
Is Batshuayi a good player?
I think he is, and I was about to compare him to a hockey player, but you wouldn't know. But I will, for those of you who do know, you probably won't understand. You know this guy.
I doubt it a lot that anybody's going to know.
Probably not, but I'm just going to say it. I compare it to a hockey player called Adrian Kempe, who was a very
that name.
Yeah, see? Very young star who had a lot of potential, and it must have just gotten into his head because Adrian Kempe is not as good as he's supposed to be.
But wait.
I will never be. Michy Batshuayi as well. Do I consider Michy Batshuayi a good player? Unfortunately, I don't think so.
Is he a good player for Belgium?
Somehow
maybe it's just a Chelsea thing. Werner's not bad for Germany. Werner's not bad for Germany. Chelsea might just have a curse on strikers.
Is that your point?
Tell me the last time you guys had a great striker after Drogba. You can't. You can't. You can't.
What do you mean?
You can't. Name me the last time you had a good striker that wasn't
Diego
Drogba.
Costa.
I'll give you that. That's one. That's one in
You said
what,
name one.
13 years? 13 years. You've had one good striker.
First of all, let's time out. Whoa.
Wait. When did Drogba leave? 8 years?
Hold on.
Was it 2012?
It was. Yeah. I think it was 2012.
I need to bring something up.
Go ahead then.
I know Aiden's going to disagree with me on this.
Of course I will.
Luke and I were having a conversation about this with Luke and his brother. Ibrahimovic, career-wise, has been way better. No, I won't say way better. Has been better than Thierry Henry. 100%. You can't even argue that.
Well, first of all, you can.
No, you can.
You absolutely can.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken, Thierry Henry.
I mean, what was he doing at 39 years old?
No, but I mean, did he have a Champions League?
Oh, Arsenal never did.
But he was with Barcelona.
Yeah, true.
Ibra has played for 6 teams in the Champions League, and he's never won it. In terms of individual awards,
well, Ibra will get one with AC Milan.
They both haven't won the Ballon d'Or. I mean, you know.
Okay, but
Ibra has more.
Ibra was in the Messi Ronaldo era.
Okay.
For like the prime of his career, it's a bit difficult to win a Ballon d'Or in that era.
Thierry Henry was still considered a world-class player during that era as well. But let me explain this to you. Yes, Ibrahimovic may have more Swedish Player of the Year awards than Thierry Henry will ever have. It's hard when you don't have stats side by side, because this is one where you could definitely bring up stats, and it's also hard for me to judge growing up with Ibra and not so much growing up with prime Henry, right?
Yeah.
Henry you can make a case for Henry being one of the best players in the Premier League history, up there with the likes of Shearer, Giggs, players like them, Bergkamp. It's a really, really good argument, because I don't have an answer for you. If you want one out of me, I'm not going to give it to you. Ibrahimovic is one of my favorite players.
Let me ask you one thing.
Yes.
How many goals does Thierry Henry have in Serie A? None.
That's hilarious.
None.
Okay, how many goals does Ibra have in the Prem?
A couple for Man U.
A couple. That's not nearly as many as Henry.
Better than zero.
Well, Ibra's played everywhere. He's played in, he played.
But that's the way to do the career. That's the way to do it. You get a bit of everything.
No, I think Ibrahimovic has had one of the best careers in terms of
I think fun. Way more fun than a Messi who stayed at Barcelona forever.
Yeah, he played for Barcelona. He played for PSG. Both Milans. Went to the Premier League. Manchester United. Went to the MLS and then decided, hey, I'm gonna go back to Europe, and go back to AC Milan. Of course, played in Sweden. I'm sure I'm missing another team, but he's been class in pretty much every league in Europe other than, let's see.
He was class in Prem.
Bundesliga. He didn't play in the Bundesliga.
Is that the only top 5 league Barcelona. He hasn't played in?
Of course, he played in Barcelona. I didn't mention.
Yeah.
So Barcelona and La Liga, both Milans in Serie A, PSG in Liga, and Manchester United in the Premier League. I don't think he's played in the Bundesliga.
He needs to go to the Bundesliga when he turns like 45, 46.
He'd go to a team like
Werder Bremen.
I hope.
Irrelevant.
He wouldn't do that. He'd rather go to the MLS, I'm assuming, than go to another.
Goes back to the No, I think after Milan, he's done. He's gonna play his time out there, or maybe he'll go to a Swedish club. But his club hates him.
He's
there
not
now.
going to Malmo, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, no, they hate him.
How terrible would it be if he went to that rival club?
He's a part owner in it now.
Yeah, but I mean,
imagine that's like basketball terms, but that's like a LaMelo Ball. He played for the team that he owned in Australia.
Yeah, listen, I think LaMelo, he owns a team.
Yeah, he bought the team he played for in Australia.
He's 18, isn't he?
Yeah, and he played for them for 2 years while he was the owner.
You're 18.
Dad's money. Well, he also had a lot of sponsorships, and they had a reality TV show.
Whatever.
He's pretty good in the NBA. All right, we won't talk about the NBA.
You know who needs to stop talking about the NBA is Bleacher Report. Oh my. Like I know they're an American company, and I love when they talk
No,
about Americans. I
I
personally love
hate
it.
I hate their Instagram account because if an American touches the ball, they freak out. They're like, "Oh, first touch for da da
No,
da."
you misinterpreted. Basically, the reason why I don't like some of the stuff BR posts is because it's like, oh, look at these jersey swaps of basketball play. It's like we don't care about basketball. If we cared about basketball, we'd follow Bleacher Report basketball. The thing that everybody hates except for Americans that Bleacher Report posts is yes, they do post more about Americans than they do Europeans. They never say, "Oh, look at this game from Weston McKinney. He had one assist and played 45 minutes." Like, no, if he has a really good game, they're going to post it. What they'll do is they'll get all the Americans from the weekend and they'll say all the stats because there are not many Europe or Americans in Europe that are, good players, and it's an American company. Go follow 433 if you don't want to
Okay,
hear
but
about Americans.
if Weston McKinney gets, I don't know, a brace and like
Yeah,
Lewandowski gets 5 goals, they're posting McKinney, not
first of all, they're
Lewandowski.
gonna they're gonna post both.
You don't see a lot of soccer besides Americans on Bleacher,
Yes,
not BR Football, Bleacher
yes.
Report.
I don't care about regular Bleacher Report. If
Well,
it's
exactly.
no, but okay, I don't care about that because if okay, go to ESPN UK, they're not gonna post about too much about American sports. They're gonna stay more on the English sports. Like, you know what I
That's
mean?
UK. Bleacher Report isn't
That's
just
what I'm saying.
America,
Bleacher Report isn't. It's an American-based company,
but that doesn't mean they just cover America.
but they cover it way more than they do other countries. That's why Bleacher Report. Forget about Bleacher Report football. Bleacher Report regular is an American-based company that covers every sport. Of course, they're going to focus first of all more on NFL, NBA, MLB, NHL, if if they focus on NHL, but they're going to focus on those American sports. And when they focus on soccer, the rare time that they focus on soccer as an American-based company is when they talk about Americans. Bleacher Report football is mostly American, but they're gonna cover every other league because that's their main thing. They're not Bleacher Report, U.S. men's national team. They're Bleacher Report football. So
Speaking of, well, no, finish your thought and then
sorry
I'll
about this
jump in.
rant. I'll finish it up right now. I'm tired of seeing comments saying we don't care about the United States. Then unfollow. Then go follow a European company. Go follow 433, which is Turkish or Dutch or whatever it is. And I follow them too. I think they're great. Stop complaining. No one wants to hear it. No one cares.
He
Go
gets
ahead.
very defensive about his Americans.
100%. I love the American national team. I love the United States, and I hate that we get so much hate. It's so I. Sorry, go ahead. Get me off this topic. I'm gonna get angry.
Well, actually, my topic. What's the men's U.S. national team gonna do?
Thanks for asking this question.
You think they can do something?
I mean, it's such a
They've got young
vague
talent.
question, isn't it? But
Okay. World Cup
okay.
2022.
Well, do you know what? I
Did
mean,
they qualify?
Uh,
No, qualifications hasn't
Yeah,
happened.
it hasn't happened
Yeah,
yet.
no.
But I'm assuming we will just because we're a much different team than we were 2 years or 4 years ago. No, 3 years ago. We're in 2021. Yep, not 2022. I'm not. So there's different types of American soccer fans. Oh, there's different types of fans in every country. There are the pessimistic fans, there are the neutral fans, and there are the optimistic fans. I would like to consider myself an optimistic fan, but I'm not going to be one of those optimistic American fans that are say, "Yeah, we can definitely push for the World Cup title." No, the USA has 0% chance of beating teams like France, Germany, Portugal.
Italy.
Italy didn't make it to the World Cup, so I'm not going to consider that. But no, but yeah, sure, Italy. USA is not going to beat those big European teams unless it's an upset. And if they do beat one of them, they're going to lose in the next round to another big team, right? What I do have hope for is making it out of the group stage and getting to the quarterfinals. That is me being optimistic, and I would consider the World Cup 2022 a huge win for the US if they can make it to the quarterfinals.
Okay. I think they'll be able to make it to the quarterfinals. I think they're just like a fine team. They're not that great. I mean, they have good players, but I don't.
They're much better because think about the
I
last.
think their players are better because they play for better teams.
I
Like
agree.
the top Americans are playing for, Juventus, Dortmund, the bigger clubs.
But that's what I'm saying. So back in 20 I think they did qualifications in 2017, was it? I don't know, but
For
whenever
the
they did,
18 Cup.
yeah, so they probably did 17, right? So let's
Yeah.
just assume they did 2017 qualifications. Yeah, we lost to Trinidad and Tobago. What an embarrassment to the country. I mean, that's a huge embarrassment. I mean, there was Alexi Lawless that was going on his rant. There was Taylor Twellman going on his rant. I mean, every American fan was pissed, rightfully so. Christian Pulisic was known as the wonder kid. They've got Michael Bradley. You've got all the MLS guys. Look at us now. Okay, we've got better developed uh, Christian Pulisic. We've got Zach Steffen in goal, right? We've got Tyler
He's
Adams.
not
We
a
got
bad
Weston
goalie.
McKennie. We have so many great talents. Gio Reyna, another one. So many great talents that we didn't have, or were just too young in 2017 that are going to be by far ready for 2022. And that's my hope for why we're going to be a much better team. And if we don't qualify for the World Cup in 2022, that's embarrassing because we should.
Yeah, I remember we did a little segment about USA football. I'd say episode like 4, 5 maybe, and
It was
one of
I think it's actually 9.
9.
Yeah,
All
because
right.
it was Everton USA. I only know that because I just went through the titles the other day. But
Okay.
yeah.
Well, earlier on, and we were talking about players, and a player that I like mentioned before that I was like, oh, maybe we should talk about him, but then we were like, oh, he's kind of a nobody. Listen, like we don't have time for it. Zach Steffen. We didn't bring him up because we were like, oh, he's the third. He's third in the depth for Man City. Comes out, he started for like what 4 games for them in the past like 2 weeks.
In my
He's not a
defense,
he's not a bad goalie.
in my defense, and Parker's defense, um, Zach Steffen
No, he was a
was
nobody then.
he was, and Zach Steffen probably wouldn't have gotten. He's not getting a bunch of recognition, but he wouldn't have gotten as much recognition as he's getting now had Ederson not had COVID problems and Zach Steffen,
But Steffen
almost.
was a good goalie when he had to play.
Of course he was, but of course no one's denying that he wasn't a good goalie, but no one really knew who he was in the
Yeah,
Prem.
yeah.
The fact that he was 1 minute away from keeping a clean sheet against Chelsea in his first career Premier League start got him the recognition that he needed. I've always known that he was a good keeper, but when you're playing for a team like Nuremberg in Germany,
Yeah, it's like I don't really care.
no one's gonna care. Especially, and like I said, when you're third choice goalkeeper, come on, like you're a nobody. It's the same thing when we did best player in each position. We didn't talk about Alphonso Davies because he was just bought by
Yeah,
Bayern Munich. He played like 2 games,
I
right?
yeah, I gotta
Couple.
say something.
Mm-hmm.
I feel bad for him. He's gonna have to play for the Canadian national team for the rest of his life. That is not a fun team. They have him and Jonathan David. I can't name another Canadian soccer
Junior
player.
Hoylett. Well, he might be retired now. Hutchinson from Besiktas. I don't know if he still plays there. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's it. Like, and Aidan like loves Canadian sports, and this well, not
First of
Canadian
all,
sports.
what? I'm a Toronto Raptor
He's a
fan.
Toronto Raptors fan,
Other
and he
than that,
fought
I can't say I'm a
Canadian
fan of any
hockey.
other. No, I don't follow Canadian hockey. I follow hockey that happens to have 7 Canadian teams. Come on.
7.
Yeah.
All right, enough other sports.
We
There's
brought in
been
like 3
hockey.
different. You know who
All
could
right,
represent? Not anymore, I don't think, but who could have represented Canada is, I think he was born there. Don't quote me on that. Calgary native Fikayo Tomori. Played
really.
in, played in. It was like under 15 Canada with Alphonso Davies.
Honestly, should have taken that because he's never playing for England.
Yes. What are you talking about? You are so quick
he
to
has
judge players.
he has like 1 cap for them.
He's like 21 years old.
Okay, but who's he
He's a
going to
kid.
start over? Who's he
He's
going to
like
start
4 years
over?
older than us.
You know what's crazy? Me and Aiden are both 17. Tamori is only 4 years older than
That's
us.
what I'm saying. What were they doing at 17? Okay.
Exactly.
He was winning the youth FA Cup with Chelsea. Like, seriously.
All right. Well, this is a bit of a random episode, so all the little questions that are important, but like
What am I
this is
supposed
when
to
it
title
this is
this
when
one?
it's gonna come. I don't know, but this is when it's gonna come out. What is your greatest? No, maybe not
Oh, are
greatest.
you
What
interviewing
was?
me? Yes.
No. I'm asking
Oh.
a question, and we'll both answer it.
Oh.
What was the best or most fun moment to watch for you in a football game?
Ever?
Yeah. But it doesn't like don't like it doesn't have to be Chelsea. Just like a moment where you're like, wow, that was insane. Like that was
I
crazy.
got to witness that. I have
Yeah,
a couple things. Obviously, I would say the Champions League when Chelsea won it, but I'll be honest with you guys. Like, I was a
he
pretty
was a
new
baby.
Chelsea fan. Like, I wasn't. I was worried about the Kings winning the Stanley Cup in 2012, not Chelsea winning the Champions League. Great moment, but it's not like I had. If Chelsea won the Champions League today, I'd be much more excited than I was when they won it. I was like, oh, cool.
Don't get
My
your hopes up.
favorite soccer team in England won the Champions League. Okay, didn't know the significance behind it. I was very young. One moment that I remember was the Champions League final 2016 or 17, Juve versus Madrid, and I was just watching it by myself. Mandzukic hits a bicycle kick. I'm like, oh my god. That was the first time I was like, holy. Uh, Diego Costa scoring a bicycle kick against Swansea. I think I FaceTimed you, but it was at like 5 in the morning. Of course, you didn't answer.
Aiden,
But
I always get the FaceTime calls at like 3 or 5 a.m. from Aiden
the,
trying to tell me something.
I have no sleep schedule. The best moment that I'm going to say that I ever witnessed in my life in terms of soccer was actually during a live game, and that's when it was in Barcelona against Sevilla.
Oh,
Luis Suarez. By the way, Messi scored twice that game, which was a great experience in itself. Luis Suarez scores a bicycle kick. Me and my dad look at each other like, "Oh my god!"
were you in
In
Barcelona?
Barcelona, third row at the new camp. I
Okay.
mean, you can't ask for a better game. The best player, Messi, scoring twice. Suarez scoring a bicycle kick. You have great seats at one of the best stadiums in the entire world. This was 4 years ago, in the 16-17 season. Oh my goodness! I'll play a clip of it. I'll play a clip of it right now. One of the best. I mean, it was the best goal I've seen in person by far, and I
Yeah.
have to say that was my favorite moment.
I'd have to say mine. I thought Aiden was going for this one when he said Barcelona, but probably arguably one of the greatest Champions League games ever. Barcelona versus PSG. And it was crazy watching it live, but also my brother and his friend were actually at the game
That's so
and
amazing.
he's texting me. But no, what's crazy is 75th minute, they're Barcelona's not winning the game, right? My brother and his friend, they're like, oh, let's just get out of here. We'll leave the crowd. We'll leave the crowd. Wait, so they exit, and all of a sudden they hear cheers. And my brother, and I'm watching the game live, and I'm texting my brother. I'm like, oh my god, can you believe this? Because I think he's in there, and he hears cheers, and he's like, oh my god, they probably scored. But he was like, they're still down by 2 or 3, and then they keep going and they start walking on the street, and in a bar more cheers, and they look in and Barcelona suddenly is down by 1, and they're like, oh my god, did we just leave? Barcelona hits the goal to send them forward, and my brother's watching it on the TV, and he looks at his friend and he's like, oh my god, we just missed one of the greatest like endings to a soccer game ever.
That is really hard to listen to. Are you kidding? I've never been a fan of leaving games early, whether it's a championship game or not. Like this happened to my dad. I don't know the exact game, but he was a kid. His my grandpa was announcing the game, and he was there with his aunt, and it was one of the most. Again, I don't know the game. I have to double check on it, but it was one of the most famous baseball games of all time. He left early to beat traffic.
Yeah.
And then of course you hear that it became one of the
Exactly.
greatest games in history. But that's what I thought of when you said that, because it just shows don't leave the game
Don't
early. I
leave
was
the
watching
game early.
highlights of Arsenal versus Reading. Reading was winning 4-0. They show fans leaving. Arsenal ends up winning that game in extra time. Like, are you
Yeah. No, it's
don't I don't
crazy.
like leaving games early. Like Kings games in hockey, we'll be down by 1 goal. My dad's like, all right, let's go. It's fine. I'm like, no, we can't, we can't.
No,
I
no.
have to stay.
Aiden has like a perfect way to get out of the Kings game right after it ends. You just sprint out.
Sprint out. It works. Go out those doors. Oh, we have it down because we've been going to games for years,
Yeah.
so we have that system down
I
like
do I
that.
do want to give a special shout out though.
Ooh.
Lewandowski, 5 goals, 9 games. Or not 9 games,
Yeah, but
nine
I didn't see
minutes.
that live.
I didn't watch it live, but you watch that and you're like, what? He's literally the definition of a super sub. They put him in, first 9 minutes, 5 goals.
I mean,
I
he
mean,
scored
and they were losing the game, and then they went up by what, 3 or something?
something like that. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. By 4, I think it was. That was unbelievable. However, like I said, I didn't watch it
Yeah,
live. Again, with the
exactly.
Champions League Barcelona PSG, I was checking it on my phone I wasn't watching it because we were in school, and I was getting out of some class. So like I'm not gonna pick those. I mean, one that comes to mind, but I don't want to be like, oh, the greatest moment of my entire life in terms of soccer was, last year. You know what I'm saying? But when I was in your Spanish class, you and our friend Aidan's Spanish class, Ajax Chelsea. I'm watching it during lunch. I'm so mad. We're down 4-1. I go to his Spanish class. I'm in my free bucks, so I go there.
He's not in our Spanish class. He just came and joined.
I go
We
there
had a
for
sub that day.
I had we had a sub, or they had a sub, and I had like 3 friends, Ico, our friend Aidan, and I don't even remember who else, a couple other people in that class that I was just hanging out with, and I was watching the game. They ended up tying it 4-4, and I start freaking out, and the sub kicks me out of class. He goes, no, you're out. I'm like, I'm sorry. Like, I'll gladly leave knowing that, Chelsea just tied the game. And then that, eventually helped us get through to the round of 16, which we were clobbered by Bayern in the next round. But that ended up being the decider. So good moment.
That was also wasn't that the famous? That was the famous Kepa moment where he goes to save the free kick off his face into the goal.
Yep. I'm gonna show a lot of clips. We're talking about a lot of clips. I'm gonna show these clips. There's a clip of Ziyech taking a free kick and it going off the post, hitting Kepa in the face and going in.
How long have we been waffling for? I mean, we've just been like throwing random.
I might just
out.
title that because we've been going for 47 minutes. So, and my
computer. This is one of our longer episodes, and we didn't even have a set thing.
We're gonna end it probably at around 50, 55, just because we'll go 55 because we'll go until my computer's gonna die. Basically, I've got like 20%. So, we actually don't have a game plan. So we're just gonna continue on waffling for right now. I'm sorry if you guys don't want to do that, but we should talk about. One, I don't want to go all the way back to the beginning, but Super Cup, was that? Super Copa de España, Athletic Bilbao wins it.
Today.
Watch the game?
Today.
Yeah, did you watch it?
I did.
Tell me about that because I didn't watch it. I just saw a scoreline. Tell me.
Well, so I'm sitting on the couch with my brother and we're like, oh, there's the final on right now. Let's turn it on. And it was Barcelona scored first. Griezmann, who I love. I love to see him score. And then I think Iñaki Williams tied it up. Barca then went ahead, and I was like, all right, Barca's going to win this. And then late game, actually, did I flip it? Was it? I don't remember actually who went up first. No, I think Barcelona went up 2-1 in like the 70-something minute, and then Bilbao tied it. They go into extra time, and Iñaki Williams hits one of the best goals I've seen this season so far. It was an amazing goal. Play the clip.
Play the clip. No copyright, guys. As long as we use under 6 seconds, no copyright.
It was a great goal. It was inside the box. He like flicked it and curved it. It snuck into the corner of the goal. It was amazing. And then Messi gets his first career red card. I mean, I was more excited about the red card than I was for the goal. For Barcelona, he's gotten 2 in his career, Argentina and now Barcelona. And
manslaughter, that was.
It was not a red card.
You mad?
It was not a red card.
Are you kidding?
It was not a red card.
He clotheslined someone from behind with a WWE move.
No, he that's a yellow at most. That was a yellow. That was not a red.
The guy from behind.
Messi needs to get a little anger out. He didn't.
It doesn't mean he can't be punished from it.
But it's Messi. Why are you giving him a red card? Why are you giving him a red card in the 120th minute? Game's about to end.
Was he gonna be suspended for the next Super Cup game? Like that was the final.
No, that's like I was watching another football podcast, and they were talking about the ref who gave Aguero the famous yellow card after he hit the goal and ripped off his shirt and started freaking out. He gave him the yellow card, and he even said like, no, I really didn't want to give him that yellow. Like, I just want to let him celebrate. I understand it. And he even said like, if he was already on a yellow, I would not have given him another yellow.
Wait,
it's the thought that it's.
Was this the Aguero?
Aguero. Yeah.
He got a yellow?
He got a yellow because he ripped off his shirt.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that. To be fair, it's a rule though. The referee's got to follow through.
Well, he said if Aguero was on a yellow, he would not have pulled out the card and given him a red. And it's that idea. I mean, yeah, it was a great moment, but also why give a red in the 120th minute? I mean, the kid flopped today. It was not that hard.
I'll tell you why he gave a
I
red.
get punched like that by Aidan every day. It's not
Listen,
that hard.
if it's a yellow card like that, let's say Messi was already on a yellow, and you're gonna give a second yellow, I get it. All right, that wouldn't
No
stand
flat
off.
red.
But the fact, like, let's give you another example. If you go studs up on a guy's shin, and it's in the 120th minute, the referee's not gonna be like, one
No,
minute
but
left.
that can injure the guy. He didn't even hit him that hard. He didn't hit him that hard.
Okay, I'm all for like playing on, you knock a guy down, play on. Messi full on clotheslined him from the.
No, but it wasn't intentional.
It he swung his arm. Yes, it was completely intentional. He swung his arm.
Listen, I will allow no Messi slander on this podcast.
Listen, I love Messi. I do. I love Messi to death. He's, one of my favorite players growing up, of course, like every other kid. But come on, if you're gonna sit here and tell me that that's not a red card,
I think that's a yellow.
You're going bonkers, aren't you?
No, I think it's a yellow.
What do you mean? You want to know a fun fact about Messi's 2 career red cards? His
both were clotheslining someone.
Well, one of them that was in the Argentina one was on his first game for Argentina. It was his debut with the national team, and really? He got sent off. Yep.
Solid way to start your career.
Yeah, and then he hasn't gotten one since. And then 750 games later, he's.
Yeah, but how many times are you seeing right wingers get a red card? Like, it's not that often.
I feel like for some reason the first name that popped in my head is Sadio Mane when he like almost killed Ederson basically.
Yeah.
And then you got Son kicking Rudonkey in the ball sack. That was just ridiculous.
The greatest. Did you ever watch the Tottenham All or Nothing?
You know what? I just convinced my dad to give me his Amazon account so I could watch it on my phone. I haven't started.
It's a great series, and
don't spoil anything for me.
No, I won't. But there's the famous Son getting sent off where he starts freaking out, and there's a clip. He runs into the locker room and he's like, "How is that red? How is that red?" Whenever I think of a red card, that's immediately what goes to my head because it was the funniest clip. Not the funniest clip, but it was a funny clip in that show. Tottenham is like a very funny team to watch. Jose, like there was the clip when he found out when Harry Kane was out for the year and he's like, "We're so like, you might have to believe that." But he's like, "Oh, we're done for the year. Like I can't do this anymore."
I love Jose Mourinho. He's one of my.
He has no filter.
No filter, and I love it. You remember when?
If I speak, I get fined.
If I speak, I'm in big trouble.
Oh, big trouble! Yeah.
He's such a great manager, and he's got a great personality.
But you gotta love the people like that. Yeah, you gotta love. Jurgen's trying to become that, going at the reporters, but
right.
It's not for everyone.
Tell me why. Right. Tell me why Son Heung-min got sent off for kicking Rudonkey in the balls. But like maybe not like in the chest area, kicks him, and then Harry Maguire absolutely studs up Cleats Michy in the actual balls and doesn't get sent off. Are you kidding me? That is, and he was right in front of the Chelsea too.
It's also like the Jordan Pickford on Virgil. How is that not even a foul?
He tear man's ACL. It wasn't even a foul as well. You're right.
No, exactly.
They ended up drawing that game.
Stuff like that. Was the Jimenez thing? That wasn't even a foul.
I wouldn't think it was a foul.
Are you kidding, bro? He headed him.
But they went together. It was an unintentional thing.
I just hate David Luiz. He's a freak.
Honestly, you know what? Maybe I could see that being a foul just because of the Mane Ederson. It was unintentional for Mane, but at the end of the day, when you kick a guy in the face, that's a red card.
Yeah.
I've never been sent off, in my playing days as a high school. Not even high school, as a middle school player. I never got sent off. I got kicked out for yelling at the refs one time.
One of my friends, it's probably like 6th grade, in our little elementary games, starts ripping the ref, like cursing him out, gets a yellow card, not even a red, gets a yellow card. And then he freaks out about getting the yellow card and gets a second yellow. And then he got sent off. That was the only time I ever saw someone get sent off.
I played for a team, like a rec team that we called FC Encino. And it was all the Encino locals playing. And I remember we had this kid, I'll say his name because they won't know his last name, but this kid, Joey, would be always talk. We had this one ref and his son, that would be the 2 refs. And I would always talk to the son because I played striker and he was always on the other side of the field. But our coach was like yelling at the ref, And the ref comes over, are you talking to me? Are you talking to me? And he books him. And Joey just goes, hey, ref, you don't need to go all WWE on him. And he gets a yellow too. He's just dishing out yellow cards to everyone. I'll never forget that. This ref this guy had calves the size of watermelons. On the wing, he was faster than our wingers. Like, he would run by them. Like, he was
it's always the rec refs.
It is. It's always the rec refs. And oh man, I refed my little cousin's game about 4 years back, and I did well because the game is so slow. It's a bunch of 6-year-olds, But I remember this girl got injured, and she was like crying. Kids cry, and I'm looking. I'm like, what do I do? Like, keep in mind, this is a girls' game, which was 6-year-old girls. So there was only one ref, and I was the only one. So I was like in charge of everything, lines and center ref.
Gives a red.
I didn't know what to do. So I looked over and I was like, hey, like, are you okay? She was like, wah! And I was like, okay, I'll just play on. The ball Ico's just left. Ico's just left. All right. I'm gonna wait to tell my story until he comes back. Hopefully he doesn't FaceTime me and corrupt the file here. But so guys, you know what? I'm probably just gonna cut this because I don't know what happened. I think his computer probably died. Oh, here he is. Let's see. Wait for him to connect to audio here. Don't worry, I've kept him out.
The story was getting a little boring. No, I'm kidding.
Anyway, so she's crying. She's like, meh. I'm like, I don't know what to do. So then I look and the ball goes out of bounds, and I'm like, oh my goodness, I don't know who it went off of. I'm gonna have to guess. So I go, oh yeah, point that way, and the parents are like, oh, and he chose that way. What are you doing? I'm like, I don't know. I didn't see it. Your daughter just got injured, and you're yelling about me, going the wrong way. But I am a registered AYSO referee, just in case any of you guys out there need me. I'm happy to work.
I remember I played in like a Beeman soccer league.
I played basketball Beeman league. Did you play there as well?
No, I did Whitington basketball.
Gotcha.
But Beeman soccer, I played for the Spanish national team. We were countries, not teams.
Really, that's cool.
Yeah. And I remember one game. I was the left back, baby Maldino, but Maldini. And I remember there was one kid, he was just annoying me so much. And this was pre-game, right? We weren't even in the game. You can ask my mom about this story. It was awful. I grab one of the balls from the practice. I walk over to him and I boot it into his stomach. I don't know if I can even say this. Might be a little too graphic for YouTube. Booted into his booted into his stomach. The kid is on the ground. He's so confused why I just did this. He was just being annoying. And by the way, this is like 7 or 8-year-old Ico. And I just walk off the field and go into my car. And my mom is like, what are you doing here? And I'm like, we just need to go home. I didn't play the game.
I went home. Knowing how paranoid that you are, I wouldn't be surprised if you're like, Mom, we gotta get out of here.
No, I was so calm about it. My mom was even like, wait, what? I literally just got in the car. I was like, Mom, we need to go home.
I felt pretty good. And by the way, you say he was confused. I mean, as he should be. I mean, if some kid walked up to me and boots the ball in my stomach and I fall on the ground, I'd be like, well, what the hell was that for? Why have you done that? You know what I mean?
I don't know what was happening.
Absolutely pointless. That I never had any like crazy stories in rec league. You know what happened is I went to a tournament with FC Encino before it was a rec team. It was a club team, and they were like, "Oh, come down for the weekend." We went to Anaheim with my good friend Jack Weisberg. Shout out Jack Weisberg. And I'm such a heavy sleeper, but the Brazilian team, like they're from Brazil. What are they? They beat everyone 5-0. That's just not fair. Why are they there? They beat us like 10-0. Again, why do you come to Anaheim? You're from Brazil. Anyway, they thought it was funny that in the middle of the night they'd set off the fire alarm in the hotel. Great, as you do. I slept through it, which is insane. But we played them the next morning. Apparently, everyone's like, "Oh, we didn't get sleep." I was like, "I'm fully rested," but I was bad back then. I had 1 assist in like 5 games. Was it
back then?
Hey, you want a one-on-one? You know what? Coming soon to TikTok, Inside the D, 1v1, Ico versus Aidan. Although now that we're in pandemic, Ico
I just gotta go for the knee.
To leave the house. Yeah, go for my knee. See what happens.
I remember my old coach for Spanish national team tore his ACL in practice.
Really?
Yeah, I didn't even know what that was at the time. And then Aidan tore his ACL, and I was like, oh, my coach did that. Didn't know what it was.
You know, when I tearing my ACL was
The greatest moment of my life.
well, it was kind of weird because I remember finding out that I tore it. It was like 3 weeks after I had torn it. And I was like, I'm on crutches. I'm like, obviously something's wrong. My mom texted me on the way to a game at Brentwood or in Brentwood. And my mom was like, "Oh, you tore your ACL." I'm like, "No, I didn't." Like I was literally walking around earlier. She sends me like the doctor's like MRI results or whatever, and it's like full ACL tear. I'm like, what? I'm telling my coach, I'm like, hey coach, I just tore my ACL. What do you mean? What? I tell the other coach, and he's like, oh, you're gonna be out for a good year. It's been like 2 years.
He is
I'm still
not
not
back.
back. You know what I mean?
Okay, and this is like not even that. Honestly, I don't know if this is podcast talk, but like it's kind of your fault though.
Oh, it
Bro,
is.
he wasn't cleared, and he's like playing soccer with us on the field. He's
To
just
be
running around.
in my defense, my doctor said it was nothing but a knee sprain.
No, I'm talking about after the surgery, like before
Oh,
he got fully cleared. Like
I
he
would
was like, coach was like, okay, you can do non-contact, and he's like, all right, I can practice, and we're like, that's not
also, I
non-contact.
don't know if you remember, but when I had crutches after the surgery, I was still on like
Oh, he was
no,
running
no,
around.
no. Wait, no, it was before the surgery when I had a torn ACL. I was on crutches and I was playing soccer with one foot, like I was
Oh
banging
no,
two
because
sticks in.
no, his excuse was, well, I'm getting surgery anyways.
Yeah, I can't mess it up more than I've already messed.
Uh,
Maybe that's why I've
until
been
he
on
tears
pretty.
the MCL as well. Yeah, exactly.
No, but I was safe about it because I was like, well, I guess I wasn't safe about it.
No, you were not.
Anyway, we're getting very off topic, guys. This is
Yeah,
the first podcast in our 18, 19 episodes where we've gone over an hour. I just want to point that out.
the banter went a long way.
Banter went a long way, guys. I really hope you enjoyed this episode. And our average viewing time is like 2% of the video. So you probably clicked off about an hour ago. But if you decided to either skip to the end or watch the entire podcast back, we really appreciate you coming on. And our next episode will be with a very, very special guest who plays for a very special team. We're not going to tell you who, but please look out for that. We'll be back in the next episode without Luke, but then episode 20 will be with Luke again. Thanks for joining us, guys.